Welcome to the Explainer. We're diving into a really big question today from the Bhagavad Gita. Do you have to escape the world to find peace? Or can you find it right in the middle of everything? Well, Chapter 5, the Yoga of Action, has a pretty amazing answer. Let's start with a feeling that I'm sure is familiar to you. You know that feeling? You're overwhelmed by duty, your job, your family, all your commitments, and part of you just wants to walk away, right? Just to find some quiet, some peace. It really feels like you have to choose, either engage with the world or escape from it.
But here's the thing. This isn't some new, modern-day problem. Not at all. It's the exact crisis that a great warrior named Arjuna faced on a battlefield thousands of years ago. And his confusion, well, that's what sparks the incredible wisdom we're about to get into from the Gita's 5th chapter.
All right, so let's get right into it. Arjuna's confusion is really the starting point for everything. He turns to his guide, Krishna, and he asks a super direct, very practical question.
See, from his perspective, he's getting totally mixed signals. Krishna has been praising the idea of renunciation, stepping back from it all. But then in the same breath, he's telling Arjuna to act, to do his duty. So Arjuna is basically throwing his hands up and saying, look, I can't do both. Just tell me, which one path is actually better?
So here are the two paths Arjuna is struggling with. You've got Karma Sanyasa. That's the traditional idea of renouncing action, basically seeking freedom from the world. And then you have Karma Yoga, which is a totally different way of thinking. It's about finding freedom within the world, by changing your relationship to your duties, not by running away from them.
And Krishna's response here is, well, it's a total game changer. It's not just an answer for Arjuna. Honestly, it's a kind of spiritual technology that every single one of us can use.
So here's the crucial part. Krishna says, look, both paths work. Both can lead to liberation. But, and this is a huge but, he says that for most of us, for people living in the world, the path of action, Karma Yoga, is actually superior. It's the more practical and effective way. And this is the absolute core of it all. Karma Yoga isn't about what you're doing. It's all about the mindset, the consciousness behind what you're doing. It's a huge shift from what's in it for me to how can I do this action the best I possibly can as my duty and let go of what happens next.
Okay, but how do you actually do that? Acting without attachment can sound a little, abstract, right? So Krishna, being the brilliant teacher he is, gives us this powerful image to make it super concrete. He calls it the lotus leaf principle.
This right here, this captures the goal perfectly. When he says yoga, he's talking about that evenness of mind, that inner balance where you're not getting carried away by a big win and you're not getting crushed by a failure. You just stay steady.
And to make this crystal clear, he doesn't get bogged down in complicated ideas. Nope, he uses a simple, beautiful image from nature that anyone can grasp. Think about it. The lotus leaf lives in the water. It's totally engaged. It's even nourished by the water. It gets everything it needs from its environment. But, and this is the magic, it stays completely untouched and dry. The water just rolls right off. That is the ideal for a karma yogi. You're in the world, you're learning from it, but the chaos, the drama, it just doesn't stick.
And there's a really practical logic behind this idea of detachment. It's not just some nice spiritual thought. The Gita says, listen, any outcome depends on at least 5 things. The place, you, your tools, your effort, and destiny, or factors beyond your control. You are only one piece of that puzzle. So, does it make any sense to carry all the emotional weight for a result you only have 1/5 of the control over? When you think about it that way, it's just illogical.
Okay, so let's jump forward a few thousand years and bring this right into our world today. Because this isn't just philosophy for ancient warriors or yogis in a cave. This is an incredibly powerful framework for leadership, for decision-making, for just being effective in our modern lives. Think about a leader, a manager, anyone in charge who operates from a sense of duty instead of just personal gain. It completely changes the dynamic, right? It builds trust, it creates a sense of purpose. You're not just checking off tasks anymore. You're actually elevating the entire culture of the team or the company.
And look at how this plays out in real leadership qualities. You get someone who acts with integrity, because it's about the duty, not the reward. Someone who has equanimity, who stays cool whether things are going great or terribly. They're resilient, because they're focused on the action, not the setback. And they're grateful for the chance to even be in that position. Now that is the kind of leader people want to follow.
So, what's the end game here? Where does this path of selfless action actually take you? What's the ultimate goal?
The ultimate destination is something called moksha.
which means spiritual liberation. And we're not just talking about being more productive or a nicer person. This is way bigger. It's about achieving a deep, unshakable inner freedom. It's about getting off that emotional roller coaster of success and failure that runs so much of our lives.
Honestly, if you take away just one thing from this whole chapter, let it be this. True freedom, true spirituality, it isn't found by escaping the world. It's found by mastering your engagement with it, right here, right now, in the middle of your actual life.
So I'll leave you with something to think about this week. What's one action, just one, that you can perform purely as a duty without getting hung up on the result? Give it a try. In our next explainer, we're going to dive into Chapter 6, which takes us to the next stage of the journey, the yoga of meditation. Thanks so much for joining us.